Hello everyone. Today I would like to introduce you to a mod I've been working on for a few months now, and this mod is Scanner. Today we'll be taking a look at Scanner, which is a mod meant primarily for skyblock maps, but again I can see it being used in regular packs as well. The main feature of Scanner is this block, the terrain scanner, which we'll be taking a look at in a few seconds. But first, let's cover a slightly more basic feature, which is the biome scanner. We have 4 tiers of biome scanners: Ultimate, Elite, Advanced, and Basic. That's like the mechanism tiers of machines. And what do they do, you may ask, is they take power, of course. I have a Nearest Argents here. And they allow you to scan the void for biomes. Of course, I'm in a void world, so everything is just the void biome, as you can see from here. But if I was in an actual world or in a regularly generated world, I would see biomes here. I could scan and it would take power from the generator. And that's it. The 4 tiers differ in that the ultimate can do over this range, and the basic can only do up to 4 chunks distance. And the power cost is dependent on the distance from the block. And that's about it for the BAM scanner. Let's move on to the terrain scanner. This is the main feature of the mod. What the terrain scanner does is it generates chunks. As you can see, it has a GUI which you can open, and it has some options which we'll be covering in a second. But if you give it power, it takes by default 100 RF per tick, so not too much. Just press turn on, and as you can see, it starts generating an actual chunk. Now I have a debug command to make it slightly faster. It will always build a chunk on the positive Z and positive X coordinates. So I have this debug command which I can use. As you can see, it actually builds a chunk. It also generates ores and stuff, which we can't see right now because I have it turned off in the config. But if you play for yourself, you'll be able to um, see generate ores. And yeah, as you can see, it finished generating the chunk. Generates trees and grass and all of that stuff. So that's the basic function of the terrain scanner. But by default, it's pretty slow. It does 1 block per tick, which for a full chunk takes a lot of time. Just clear this chunk out so we can now take a look at how you can make it faster. Okay. Now the terrain scanner, as you could see, has an option for speed, which you can just turn up, and it will obviously multiply the cost. So if normally it takes 100 RF per tick, it will take 800 RF per tick. But as you can see, it's significantly faster. But that's only one thing you can do with a terrain scanner. Another thing is you can build chunks remotely. As you can see, place Ultimate Biome Scanner adjacent to show map. So if I do that, it doesn't need power, it just needs to be there. There will be a show map button, which if you press, you get a map, just like the Biome Scanner map. What a coincidence. Now, this has the full range, and no matter where you click, it will always cost. It's 1 million RF per tick in a default, but you can change it like everything else in the config. And when you press a chunk, it will set it to remote start. And if I turn it on, it will start building. In this case, it's building here. If I want it to stop, I can make it stop by turn off. And as you can see, it stopped. Now I can build somewhere else if I wanted. Now here, as you can see, it's building here. Now I'll quickly mention that, as you can see, the scanners do not have any recipes. The pack needs to add recipes in using Mindtweaker or something like that. And just because I can't decide on the balance of the pack for you, some people might prefer it to be an early game thing, and others might think it's a really end game thing. So that's up to the pack maker. Okay, let's continue. Now let's talk about another, you can call it upgrade, another thing you can put next to the terrain scanner, like the biome scanner. That is the scanner queue. As you can see, when you place it next to it, you see scanner queue attached. Now what a scanner queue does is it allows you to queue up chunks, so it doesn't have to build only one chunk at a time. Well, it will build one chunk at a time, but once it's done, it will automatically move on to the next chunk, so you don't have to keep resetting it after every time. To set the chunks it has to do, that's okay. You go to the scanner queue, and now you have this GUI. As you can see, it has a capacity of 5. Right now you can't change it, but that's a limitation of the GUI. It's too small. And what you can do is type in the coordinates you want. For example, I have written up some 16.0. You can see it writes it, and there are buttons. Let's write up the rest and 0.15. Okay. Now you have some buttons here, build and remove. Remove does exactly what you'd expect. And build, what build does, when you press it, as you can see, the chunk moves here. And I have the chunks marked up with the stone box. And as you can see, it builds here. If I wanted to stop and build somewhere else, I can tell it and it will build somewhere else. Now, another thing it does, it automatically, is if it's building a chunk and it's done building the chunk, it will automatically go on to the next chunk and the next chunk, and that's it until it's all done. And yeah, that's about it. Right now, that's all I have to show you about Scanner right now, but I plan to keep developing it, and I'm getting a better texture for that. Right now it's not a great texture. And yeah, I think it has a lot of potential, and I'll definitely be adding more stuff to it. And I want to know what you think about it. That's it. Thanks for watching.